Hello and welcome to Keys and Decor, the podcast where we talk all things home, buying, decorating, and making your space feel like your sanctuary. I'm your host, Latoya Cooper, a realtor and former marketing professional who's passionate about helping you navigate the journey from house to home. Hey friends, so welcome back. I hope that you've had an amazing week. So listen, let me tell you about this episode. I will not be filming this episode for YouTube, okay? This will only be on the audio platforms, okay? Because I've been sick all week. So if you can imagine being sick all week, I am a complete mess. And honestly, I'm lucky to even get this episode out on time. So, no video, just the audio. But I wanted to still make sure, just for the sake of consistency, that I came on and gave you something of value that you could take into the weekend. With today being Thursday, I'm sure that you're starting to think about your open houses for the weekend and trying to plan where you're going to go. So today's episode is all about some important questions that you should ask at an open house so that you can really maximize your time there. You know, as someone who hosts a lot of open houses, it really amazes me sometimes how people will come in and they'll just want to look around, but they don't have any questions. So, of course, I always invite, them to ask questions. And sometimes if they don't have any, I'll wait until after they've looked at most of the home, and then I'll just start sharing certain information. And of course, they're always happy to hear that information, like, oh, wow, that's really good to know. So when you're at an open house, it's not just about looking around and admiring the beauty of the home. If you really want to maximize your time, you need to ask some key questions to really determine whether or not this truly is a home that you should even be considering. All right, so let's just start. I have a few questions. This will be a short and sweet episode. I apologize if I sound funny. All right, so the first question, or a question that I would ask, that you should ask at an open house, is how long has the home been on the market? Because if it's been sitting on the market for a while, then what that tells you is that there may be room to negotiate, or there may be some issues going on with the house, and that's what's kind of causing it to sit. So if it's been on the market for, let's say, more than a month or so, or better yet, if you already have a realtor, maybe ask your realtor what's the average days on market for the area that you're looking in. And if the house has been sitting for longer than what the average days on market is, you should dig deeper and ask, why have what type of feedback have you been getting from others about the home? Why do you think it's been sitting so long? And sometimes that will reveal some things. And the truth is that sometimes houses just sit just for no reason. It could just be bad timing. So it could be a pricing issue, so it's just really hard to say. It could be an indicator of something, but it could just be just bad timing of when it went on the market. So, but it's always good to ask that question, how long it's been on the market, and to kind of dig deeper into it, okay? Now, another important question to ask is, what's included in the sale? Don't assume that appliances, light fixtures, or even window treatments come with the house. Always double check, okay? Another question, have there been any major repairs or renovations? This gives insight into the home's history and whether those big ticket items like the roof or HVAC might need replacing soon. All right, so if those things, if you want to know what the age is of those things so that you can get an idea of how much longer do you have before you'll have to replace those. Another question to ask is, what are the average utility costs? Because a home may seem perfect, But if the heating or electric bills are sky high, it could be a budget breaker. So especially when it comes to your older homes, yeah, it's a good idea to ask what the average utility costs are. And, truthfully, when you're at open house, it may be that the host doesn't know the answer to this particular question or any of these other questions. Hopefully so, but they may not know what the average utility cost is, but they should still be able to get you that information. Okay, so make sure that you ask. That's important. And another thing is HOA fees. You want to ask if the home has HOA fees, how much are the fees? Because that could be something else that's a budget breaker. And I know from experience that sometimes some buyers, some clients, they don't want high HOA fees. So that's a question for you to ask from the beginning as well. Now, another question, the final question, are there any offers on the home already? Asking this question will help you to kind of gauge the competition. Now, if there are multiple offers already, then you may need to move fast or adjust your offer strategy. Okay, so now, usually if there are offers on the home, open house may be canceled anyway, but if for some reason you're at an open house and they say that there are already some offers that the seller is considering, if you really do like the home, you may want to go ahead, get in touch with your agent and get the ball rolling. Let your agent know so that they can contact the listing agent, get all the important information needed so that you can put together a really attractive offer. Okay? All right, so those are the questions that, a few must-have questions at any open house. All right? Now, if you're thinking about buying a home and you're in the Triangle area, I would love to help you navigate the process, help you to ask the right question. In the description area below, you'll find a link to my calendar where you can schedule a free future home buyer strategy session where we can go over the home buying process and create a plan to help you become a homeowner in 2025. Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already, make sure that you are following the podcast. Make sure that you share this episode with a friend who may also be going to open houses this weekend. Okay? And of course, if you have time, make sure that you leave a review. That just lets these platforms know that you find value in the podcast, and they will share it with others as well. Thanks so much for listening, and I will be back next week, hopefully a lot healthier. Until then, stay mindful, stay inspired. Happy home hunting.